So welcome to Yin Yoga tonight. Tonight's focus will be on the low back. Let's start with a little bit of postural alignment here, coming into a comfortable seated position, preferably Vajrasana if you can, on the shins and the tops of the feet, otherwise cross-legged. And you can sit on a blanket or a cushion. If that's a little intense, you might take your blanket, roll it up, and just put it under the ankle joints. Mine, it feels a little intense for me, but once I put the rolled blanket underneath the ankle joints, it takes a little bit of pressure off the ankle joint. And you can find that position. It might even come up just above the ankle joint onto the shin, and that will alleviate the pressure, the extra stretch into the shin. Palms face up, shoulders back and down. And think about what we're doing when we're finding postural alignment. We're taking pressure off the body, we're taking pressure off the low back. We're finding that position where the head floats above the shoulders, shoulders above the hips. So there's a sense that the low back can take a little bit of burden off. It's not being overly stretched or shortened. And as you sit here, just slightly move the pelvis forward and backward. Just like you're doing a little bit of cat and cow with the base of the spine. Head and neck stay steady. And just notice that small movement that you've got there at the base of the back. Try to find a slightly neutral pelvis. And I say slightly neutral because there'll be a little bias towards the pelvis tilting forward, the tailbone slightly lifted but not too much. It's almost like you're trying to balance little rocks one on top of the other. If the weight of the rock at the top comes forward too much, it tips the pile down. So we're trying to find that delicate balance where the head, shoulders and hips line up. Let each new breath become a little deeper. So when we find good posture, it also helps open up the airways. And then create that piece de resistance, the Mona Lisa smile. Smile to yourself. And now when the posture is aligned, this is where we start the work of extending the vertical axis of the body. And we extend it in two opposing directions. As you inhale, push your sit bones down into your heels, into the earth. And as you exhale, lift up the heart, lift up the roof of the mouth and the crown of the head. And smile. Try that again. Inhale, pressing down through the sit bones. Exhale, lifting up the upper body. And it takes years to develop this vertical axis in a way that it becomes natural, just through practice. And this work here is helping alleviate the burden on the lower back. You'll smile to yourself as you continue. Reflect for a moment on the work your low back does for you, the pressures it bears, and how each night when we come to bed to rest, we take the pressure off the low back, hopefully. And tonight's Yin class, we're going to use a couch or a chair as a prop. So if you have a couch nearby, you can see I have a big lounge couch behind me. But you can use a chair as well. So this is one of my favorite ways of getting into the back. Exhale, release, come forward into child pose, knees wide. Resting the head on your hands, fists, or the mat. Feeling the low back stretching out. And then gently walk the hands back under the shoulders. Let's move the spine carefully here in cat and cow. Working in that range of motion that's right for you tonight. And then pause and position yourself in a way that you can butt up to the couch or the chair. And watch what I do. I pivot my body and my feet are elevated on the couch or the chair, and you'll notice that the knees are approximately 90 degrees. The buttocks up nice and close to the furniture. Hands out 90 degrees or 45 degrees, whatever feels right for you. And give the back time to settle here. Give the back time to settle. This is known in the world of therapy as the ecstatic back pose. The ecstatic back pose is an invitation for the low back to relax. Notice if your low back is tense here. Give it an invitation to relax, to settle. And that settling is a significant part of taking care of the back. The low back is constantly on alert to tense up, to tighten, to protect the spine. It has a very important function to protect the spine. But for now, the spine is protected because it's supported by the ground, and the legs, the burden of the weight of the legs is held by the couch or the chair. So the low back can relax. As it relaxes, the muscles in the low back area start to lengthen. And there comes a point where the relaxation in the low back influences the mid back and upper back. Be mindful to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And as your low back settles, exhale, turn the head to the left. Notice the vertebra in the neck. Notice if turning the head tightened the low back. If it did, invite the low back to relax again. Inhale the head to neutral. Check in with the low back. Relax the mid back, the shoulder blades. Exhale the head to the right. Notice how the sensations in the neck feel on the right side. Inhale the head to neutral, and then bring the arms out 90 degrees and bend the elbows so that the hands, palms face towards the couch, and bring the back of the hands down. And notice how that changes the low back, changes the lumbar spine. So you're in this goddess surrendered position, low back slightly arching. And even with the low back slightly arching, invite the low back to relax inside the arch. So the arch by definition is shortening the back muscles, creating tension in the back muscles. But your awareness is inviting the back to stay relaxed. So not adding any unnecessary tension to the back bend. Turn the head left. Inhale neutral. Check in with the low back. Invite it to relax. Exhale the head to the right. Inhale the head to neutral. Invite the back to relax. Keeping the elbows grounded, float the hands forward through goalpost till the palms come down to the floor next to the hips. Notice the position of the low back. Invite the low back to relax. Exhale the head to the right. Inhale the head to neutral. Exhale the head to the left. Inhale the head to neutral, and then bring the left knee back and hug and squeeze the left knee in towards the ribs. Change legs. Release the left leg back to the furniture and squeeze the right knee back into the ribs. Keep the toes curled back on that right foot. Release the right leg. Check in with your low back. And then bring both feet back to the edge of your chair or couch. If you're on a chair, make sure the chair won't slip away from you. So resting on the edge sometimes pushes the chair away. So have the chair up against the table or a wall or on a non-slip mat. If you're on a couch, you shouldn't have any issues. So both knees are back towards the ribs simply because your feet are resting on the edge of the couch. If they're not back far enough, shuffle your buttocks closer to the furniture. Feet approximately hip width distance apart. Notice the impact this has on the low back. Make sure the back of the neck is lengthened here and that your head is not on any cushion or raised platform. Start to push the feet into the edge of the furniture and just feel the pressure move up the spine a little bit. So no need to lift the hips yet. But you're feeling as you press the feet into the furniture, you feel the center of gravity move up the spine slowly. And then relax. Try that again. Gently pressing the feet. No hip lift yet, but feeling the pressure against the vertebra move up away from the base and then relax. As you do this, you might find your buttocks creeping away from the furniture. You can always shuffle back. Try that again. Push. And this time start to elevate the pelvis. Lift the pelvis up. Lift the hips up. And feel the weight move up the spine towards the shoulders. At any time this gets too much for you, come down and rest. But for now, just using the furniture to support you in this unusual bridge pose. The pressure bearing down onto the shoulders and the back of the skull. Let your breath be natural and easy here. Keep the arms relaxed. Come up a little higher if you can. Squeezing the glutes to keep and protect the low back. And then slowly roll back down, one vertebra at a time. When your low back is on the ground, rest the legs back on the couch and notice how the low back feels. Sometimes there's a tendency when we lift up like that the t-shirt or your shirt might start to grip the throat. So adjust your t-shirt if that's the case. Grab a towel or a blanket and have it handy in a folded position, reasonably thick. That's it. Just have it beside you. Inhale, bring the feet back to the edge of the furniture. And push, lifting the pelvis one more time into the air and hold up. Lean slightly into the right leg and lift the left leg into the sky. Point and flex the left foot. And then rotate the left foot in one direction and then the other. Cross the left ankle over the right knee, figure 4, and bring the towel underneath your back. Bring the towel or the pillow, the cushion, whatever you're using, underneath your back, and then slowly come down in your figure 4 until you feel your spine resting into your towel. If you cannot rest into the towel, if you're flinching or grimacing, lift up a little more and bring the towel up higher. So your towel or your blanket should be at the height where you're resting in your figure 4, and it feels good. It feels relaxing. You're feeling the piriformis release, and there's no strain on the system. But you can feel a delicious quality of stretch. The low back continuing this theme of relaxing. So the low back is not compensating here. Slow the breath down. Introspect for a moment, bringing your attention to your low back and your glutes. Ask yourself, would you like a little more deepening of this sensation? If the answer is yes, press down through the foot, lift the pelvis up, and push the towel a little lower. And then slowly settle the back onto this newly positioned towel or blanket. So you've come a little lower now. And notice if that still feels appropriate in the low back and the glutes. Take 5 or 6 breaths in this new position and repeat the process. If you're already on the floor and you feel like you could still go for some more, you can grab the foot and push the knee back in towards, pull the figure 4 back into the chest and push with your right knee, bringing the right foot off the furniture. So keep reiterating the process until you're at your maximum extent. Make sure the pelvis hasn't come too far out from the furniture. Sometimes the butt will creep out and that will rob you of that deepening intensity. And in between each position change, come back to your breath. Inhaling through the nose, of course. Inviting the low back to relax on each exhale. Exhale, gently release the figure 4. Lift the hips, remove the towel or the blanket, and take care of butt creep. Creep back towards the furniture if you've moved away. You might like to refold your blankets or your towel. Preparing for the other side. Before we go to the other side, come back to low back awareness. Notice how your low back is feeling. Inhale the feet to the edge of the furniture, lifting the pelvis, and bring your towel or blanket under the back. Lift the right foot to the sky and point and flex the foot. Rotate the foot. Rotate the other way. Now cross the ankle over the knee, figure 4, and slowly come down onto your blanket, onto your towel, and settle. Let this initial settling be very comfortable. very modest sensation. We'll be here for a while, so use your yin yoga awareness of breath, sensation, and relaxation. If you're finding it hard to relax, lift the hips and bring the blanket up higher. And go through your iterative process of these 3 skills. Breath,
I didn't get that. Could you
relaxation, and as you settle, the invitation to go deeper if you like, by lifting, moving the blanket further away towards the furniture and coming down again. If you run out of blanket, if you're on the floor, you can always grab the figure 4 and squeeze it in towards you a little more and push with the bent knee, the left knee, into the ankle. So you can create your own intensity over time. A general rule of thumb is to take 5 or 6 breaths, slow breaths, and then reassess. Recalibrate as needed, as wanted. Noticing all the time how this is impacting the low back. Take a few more breaths. And when you're ready, lift the pelvis, remove the blanket if it's underneath, and rest the legs. Bend both knees, rock from side to side. Gently roll all the way over to one side, curl up into a little ball. Come up onto all fours. This time facing the top of the mat. And a little cat and cow. Have your blanket handy. Let's roll it up into a nice seat, nice kind of squarish seat. Have it beside you. Now slide the right knee forward and bring the right foot over to the left side of your left leg. So you cross knee over knee. Push the right knee back against the left knee. Walk your hands back slowly and bring your towel underneath your buttocks. So you sit back onto your towel into shoelace pose. Palms face forward. Grab each foot gently by the toes. And just feel that length of spine. And notice which sit bone is taking most of the weight here. At least on my hip, it's the left sit bone. So gently push down into the right sit bone to try and even it up a little bit. Notice how your lower back feels. Inhale, gently hinge forward, bringing the fingertips to the ground and bring your head down towards the knee. Just a relaxed forward fold inside shoelace. And then slowly come up. And just watch what I do in terms of changing shoelace to the opposite side. You can come with me if you've done this before, otherwise you might want to see me demonstrate it. I bring both hands towards that left side, I ground them down, I keep my feet where they are, twist around 360 degrees, and then suddenly I'm in shoelace on the other side. There you go. Good job. Notice which sit bone is taking most pressure and push the other sit bone down a little bit more so you create a little bit of core strength to even out the hip bones here. Grab the opposite toes and sit up tall. Exhale, hinge forward, finger pads down. Let the head gently nod towards that front knee. Notice the impact on the low back. And then slowly walk the hands back, lifting the torso up, and extend the legs out, coming off your prop. Keep the legs extended as you lay onto your back. This time, if you want to support the head with your towel or blanket, you can, if that feels more natural. Relax into Shavasana. And then bend the knees and cross the right knee over the left knee into floppy shin. Bring the arms out 90 degrees if you haven't already. For 3, 2, and stop. Press down through the left foot. Lift the hips up for a moment. Let's hold them up for a moment. Just see how the low back's doing in its supportive role here. And then tilt the pelvis to the left. Drop the pelvis to the floor. Knees to the left. Coming into your lumbar twist. Keeping the arms extended. Shoulders grounded. Exhale the head to the left. See if you can relax the hips here. Inhale the head to neutral. Exhale head to the right, keeping the hips relaxed. Slowing the breath down if you can. Keeping the breath smooth. Relaxing the hips. Inhale the head to neutral. Bring the knees back to neutral. Straighten the hips and uncross the legs and relax into Shavasana. Notice the low back. Notice the right hip. Now gently bend the knees, and this time floppy shin with that left knee crossed over the right. All right, a little pause here. Let's see what's happening. Not sure what's happening. Okay, it's back. Little pause there. I lost you. I lost you there for a bit. How you back? Yeah, you good? All right. For some reason, I disconnected at this end.
Yeah, no, I worked on the other side.
Oh, good. Good. We're back in then. I'll put you back on mute and we'll keep going.
Okay.
Good job. That's the great advantage of having an experienced student. They just keep going. All right, so we're on that other side now. And once again, working with the breath distribution here. Exhale the head to the right. Inhaling to neutral and exhaling the head to the left. Inhale the head to neutral. Bring the knees up. Neutralize the pelvis and uncross and extend into Shavasana. Noticing how the low back and hips feel. Gently bend the knees. Clasp the hands under the head. Bring the knees together, feet apart. Take a deeper breath in, and as you exhale, pull the navel back in and lift the head up and support the head, keeping the low back nice and grounded into the mat. Wrap your forearms around the skull and squeeze the skull. As you squeeze the skull, gently traction out the back of the neck. Continue tractioning and breathing. Keeping the low back nice and grounded. Exhale, gently lower the head to the ground. Keep the right hand underneath the head. Pick up the knees and roll to the right side. And press up into all fours. Facing the top of the mat, a little cat and cow here. And then slowly come back to wide-kneed child pose. Notice how the low back is feeling at this point in the practice. Push into the mat with the hands, walk the hands back and come back into Vajrasana. Feeling the shins against the mat. And once again, elevating the ankles or the shins with a rolled up towel or blanket if that's appropriate. Otherwise, find your seat in Vajrasana. Look for your verticality. Once again, finding the position of the head as it floats over the shoulders. The shoulders settle over the rib cage and the ribs lift. A gentle smile and feel your breath. Feel the way your practice has changed the way you breathe. Often at the end of a yin practice, the breath becomes very sensitive, very gentle, very rhythmic, very tranquil. Bring your hands together at the chest in gratitude for our practice. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.